Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wednesday, the 26th of November. Starting off looking at the long to short ratio, which is climbing back up. It's steadily climbing back up to above 70% actually. Um, yeah, nothing really to say there. It's slowly, more longs are still re-entering. Um, Still looks to be in a general downtrend since we hit the top at like 80% a few days ago. Would like to see that continue this week, with the long to short ratio potentially dropping back down to like 60%. If we do manage to gain that little some like little local structure on the Bitcoin price. Still on the volume node, sitting around. Well, actually, this one's sitting around 87k. Let me go back to 4 hour. Actually, it might be a little bit easier to see. Yep, still sitting right there. Have a little bit sitting at about 84.5 ish. Just where we have that little like low from what was this, the 22nd? So that's gonna be Sunday's low. But to be honest, we don't even really want to lose this local stuff here at like 86k. We kind of want to see some holds here and then some bounces. But yeah, still going sideways. A few more longs coming into the market. Nothing really too much to say. Got a Kiyotake as well, just so we can compare the two. Let me actually put this on the 4 hour. Favorite that, and we'll see what the difference is. So that's on the 4 hour. That's on the 4 hour. Yeah, it's pretty similar. I would say that I can't really see. Can't really see the orders that well, or is that just because I'm on the wrong chart? Oh, here we go. You can see it on the hourly. So yeah, it's kind of very similar to CoinGlass, Kiyotaka. I don't really see too much change in them. Let me go back to the hourly on this and see if the order's the same. I feel like the last time I did this with the two, it was very, very similar. 1.14 at 93. 1.15 at 93. So the numbers are like ever so slightly different, but very, very similar. But anyway, yeah, really no change since yesterday, by and large. Sorry, I just sneezed. And last but not least, liquidity, to be honest, is building to both sides very locally, and we know that we have a ton to the upside and a ton to the downside. So very locally, I would say we do have a lot of liquidity down to 83.5. It'd be quite interesting to see if we took that. And then to the upside, we do actually have a little bit more on the local stuff, sitting about 90k. Well, what happened there? And if we just go slightly higher time frame, maybe like a week to the 2 week, yeah, you'll see that a lot better. That around the Sunday low, 83.5, there is a decent amount. And just above the highs that we did at 89, call it 89.2, there's also some nice liquidations at 90k. Where if we do start to take the upside, it will probably force us quite a lot higher. Even though it might take a little while, but yeah. Still, not really too much to say since yesterday at all. You lazy shit. On an aggregated switch between spot and perp. Let me see. On aggregated switch between spot and perp. So what am I on right now? BTUSDT. I'm on perp, right? Binance. That's the perp. I like the perp one. Don't really need spot.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. Kayotaka. You're on Kayotaka.
I am on Kayataka.
Okay, click out of that. I don't want you doing this.
What?
Like go back to the chart. All right. So up in the right hand corner there, like up by like where you dial the sensitivity in,
Yeah.
right to the left of that there, you see where it says aggregated?
Yeah.
Yeah, turn that on. Now go to the little circle thing beside it. No, beside aggregated. Yeah. Yeah. Click that. There you go. And then you can deselect or select all, but then it pulls up all of the information from the other exchanges as well. So So that's where you can select all on and then see all spot. And then that shows all spot and all perp. And then you can switch between the two by just clicking one of them off.
So this is spot right now.
Well, I don't know, because go back to no, you have both on. So
Okay,
deselect
so deselect.
perpetual
Okay.
and then
Oh,
save.
nice,
And
nice.
then now that's all spot.
So, that's actually
All
quite
right, I'll leave now.
helpful. Okay, so I guess this is better than Coin Glass, because Coin Glass is only perps, right? Yeah, Coin Glass is only perps. Spot's kind of cool, I guess, if you want to see sort of like the higher time frame, sort of like buying pressure, or like orders like this. Yeah, it looks quite nice on the 4 hour. I do actually quite like that. You basically just take those ones out. Yeah, that's cool. Well, that is cool. What, so then I go back to perps and just do this. But I don't want OKX. OKX is not that big, actually. Or Bitfinex, really. I just want Bybit and Binance. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but anyway, not really too much to say in the local price session. We're just going completely and utterly sideways. So, thanks for that, Zeus. That was nice. Very helpful. If you just give me a second, we will change these all around. Well, is the stream working? I feel like it's bugging a little bit. Hold on. Right. Should be all good. So yeah, like I was saying, not really too much change since yesterday. Got some interesting stuff coming in around the lows from Sunday, 84k. There's a bit of liquidations there as well. If I just turn on liquidations and turn off auto triangles, so it's a bit easier to see. Yep, there's a bit of high leverage stuff sitting just underneath 84 down to 83, 83 to 84 basically. Could be quite interesting. I don't really want to lose this local structure, but again, it is possible that we could take that stuff and then regain. Of course, definitely a possibility. I wouldn't like to do that. I wouldn't like to redo the March test because we have done it already. But this little block here is untested, so it potentially could get a test. As of right now, we're holding the weekly open, kind of breaking down from the daily a little bit, but you know, it's just going sideways. There's a slight more longs coming into the market. We're on support. I would still say on the balance, you're probably looking for a test of the yearly open, and then for that to be rejected the first time, I would say that's the most probable situation in the near term here. But yeah, if the longs do start to heavily increase in this flat, and we get some sort of like local breakdown back into March, it could just be like a bearish retest of the weekly open sort of thing, and we get one more down into like the high 70s, which is definitely not off the table as of right now. But definitely some interesting stuff happening. It's definitely an area where you could try to punt along somewhere here, due to like the nature of this range being quite like small. I guess it's not that small to be honest, but yeah. Again, not really too much change since yesterday. We're still on support. We're still kind of like going sideways. But I would like to talk more about the things that I was watching yesterday. So, what were we watching yesterday? Actually, let's talk about ETH real quick, just to get it out of the way. Again, ETH kind of doing the same thing. Literally, nothing's fundamentally changed on the chart. We're still in a heavy downtrend. We are above the weekly open, which is nice. Okay, fine. We do have a lot of untested levels to the upside as well, but it kind of feels like this might do one more and then bullishly diverge again into support and then get a nice really big bounce. Either way, I mean, if it bounces here from the weekly open, or if it bounces slightly like 3k lower from 2.5, either way, general area to potentially re-enter and do a little bit of buying. Now, while I don't think we're going to get all the way back up to probably like 4.85 on ETH, I do think it's very not likely, but it's very possible that we could see 4.2 and rip these highs and all the liquidity down here. That would kind of coincide with Bitcoin doing 100k ish, maybe. We'll see. But idea is still the same, basically. And if we just look at the liquidations as well, actually haven't been looking. Probably retail stablecoin demand will be exactly the same. Yeah, again, there's some interesting liquidations that kind of come into play around the Sunday low. So that's the Saturday low. So watch the Saturday to Sunday lows, sort of like around here in the structure, this little block. It kind of actually has been retested to the upside there on this candle. So realistically, losing this here wouldn't be that great, because then you would have this range, you'd have that range, you'd have that range, and you'd be dropping obviously back into the next range. But, you know, definitely still in a local uptrend, and I feel like this stuff is definitely easily accessible if this little trend were to continue. In the local, lots of high leverage below us. Definitely could maybe do something like this. Put that line on. Take that off. Take these off. And potentially try to get something here with a tight stop. If you lose that, then you're probably going into another mini downtrend, and you might make a new low. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at the market at the moment. Bit of an indecisive area, just going flat. Pretty boring, actually, you know. Solana, potentially a little brief bit on Solana. I just had this drawn up to potentially reload my long, which was kind of in this area anyway. I am in the long on Solana, but I'm going to take that off because it's kind of easy to see where the support is now. Again, actually done quite a bullish back test of this high here, which was also the 618 when I just had those fibs up. Made a new high. Looking quite good, actually, for Solana. Looking quite good. Got some minor bearish divergence on the hourly. Nothing too crazy. The 4 hour looks quite nice. Let's have a look at liquidations quickly. Yeah, got some stuff around this daily low. I do believe that this blue line that I do have on is some sort of, yeah, it's the daily low from back in June, which is quite important. It's also this kind of like structure back here. So yeah, potentially we could come and bullishly backtest out on the daily where that high leverage stuff on the 4 hour was, and then hopefully see a little bit of a climb. As long as we break this, if we can break this, you're looking for any retest to be like long for sure. Right now it's a little bit too early. We are locally in the upside, so I wouldn't like disparage you for trying to, you know, get something around here, or maybe if we come back down into here, sort of this area. But yeah, if you're looking for like a really big swing position, I'd be a little bit more cautious. Anyway, let me check the chat quickly. Everything seems to be fine. Last but not least, we'll talk about a few of the things that I was watching yesterday. So Hype was one, I believe. That's doing quite well. That's actually seen the break up now. So this is kind of what I was waiting for. That little 4 hour close above. Well, actually, it was on the hourly, wasn't it? Where that? So a little 1 hour close above. Also a nice little 4 hour close above, which would be sort of like there. Actually bullishly backtesting level at this moment in time. That looks good. I really like that. Now I'm basically just looking to long this area now. This whole area is right for me to long. Lose the weekly open, whole thing's ruined. But yeah, this is all for me to long now. With a target up here in between 37.5 and 30, 38.5, somewhere in there, you know. Yeah, looks good. I like that. Definitely, definitely looking nice. What else? There was 4 things I was looking at yesterday. One of them, I believe, was Arve. Arve, absolutely no change since yesterday. Did see a little bit of a local breakdown from that daily open. I think it was here where we were talking about potential scalp short. It was somewhere like this, somewhere along those lines, which actually did yield a decent like 3 to 3.5% dump. Actually thought this was going to go a lot lower once we started like bearishly retesting this daily open here on the hourly. So it looked something like this. There, breakdown, bearish retest. I thought it was going to go back down towards the weekly open. Actually got stopped out my long. My short. It was only a scalp though anyway, so nothing really too crazy. But again, just still up against resistance. Kind of looks like it's grinding down a little bit and gonna potentially pop up. But yeah, just one thing I've got my eye on. I wanted to take a little short scalp just down into here so I could potentially long it. But again, no change since yesterday. Nothing really too bad in that trade as well. So we'll just potentially wait for a better retest maybe of this like structure. The 2 others, near. So near was interesting yesterday. If I go back to the hourly, actually gave the perfect entry on the weekly open here, where I did manage to scoop some up at about 1.8. So I think it was about 1.8 to 1.84 where I managed to scoop some up. Looked really good when we was getting this daily open. Actually looked really good there. I think we got to 4-hour close above. So we did get a 4-hour close above. We closed the daily above as well, which is quite nice. Sorry, that's not the weekly open. That's the previous daily. Coming now back down into support. Obviously, we don't want to lose this low now. I would like to see this bounce and again come up. It's starting to look just a little bit dead, but I think it's a worthwhile long. If I just take everything off here, and you know what, we'll actually take all the boxes off as well. I've got too much stuff here. I'll probably just put the 4-hour low on. I think this is probably a worthwhile punt around this 4-hour low. We've obviously, I obviously took AI charting tools off, but this is obviously support as well. So we're grinding along support. We have this new like local high here as well, which is quite nice. Again, like if you start to lose this 4-hour low now here, this local one, I'm just not sure how much this is going to hold. But in general, I do feel like 1.8 is probably a buy on near, and like 2.2, like sort of this area is probably a sell. So I'm just going to be playing this sort of this like mini range where here I'm going to sell and here I'm potentially going to buy. And then yeah, I mean if we do that, then I'll gladly exit my position because we'll probably go a lot lower. But yeah, it still looks okay. If anyone was looking to potentially look for a long, this is still not looking too bad. Could have looked a lot better today though if we were above like somewhere around here. But yeah, that's number 3. The 4th one I actually can't remember. It was hype. It was probably hype, soul, near, and Arve. So those were the 4. So yeah, that is it for my roundup. I'm just gonna get a bit of water. Right. So, as always, anyone has anything they would like to talk about, any trades that they need help with, any indicator stuff, any questions, anything separate, You can go. This is when you can get your politics out or whatever you want. You can come up to the stage. Feel free. I'm gonna chill here for a little bit, even though I'm a bit unwell. I'm gonna chill here and feel free to ask any questions. If not, I'll probably just flick through some altcoins and have a look to see if there's anything else that I want to put on my watch list for now. On that, I'm kind of just in patient mode right now. I'm in a so long. I'm in a near long as well. Closed my injective short. Other than that, kind of just like waiting at the moment. Oh, Pax looks nice. Excuse me. You don't wait for oscillators to reset on the 1 hour for long on hype. Can you look at of altcoin? So let's go back to hype, because that's actually something that is quite interesting at this moment in time. I bet Zeus is probably already long on it. So is Adrian. So you can. This is the 4 hour anyway. So the 4 hour is actually getting some reactive re-entries here. So you might see a little bit of like a general like sideways sort of like downwards grind in this area. You definitely can wait for the 1 hour oscillators to reset. You are getting a bit of cash flow out. You are getting a little bit of trend change. So potentially, actually, that does look like a little local breakdown as well. So I might wait for a little bit lower back into like June. But generally, I'm just fine to sort of like ladder into this general area. Maybe not right here, as we are a bit high, even though the 4 hour looks like it is bullishly backtesting here. I'll probably just wait for that 4 hour. But I am going to set some orders like in between June and weekly open. That's probably what I'll just set some limits, and we'll see how it goes. You can wait for the hourly. You can also not. You don't really have to. If the price action is going up, like it doesn't really matter. I'm not really that fussed about the hourly. But yeah, we'll see how this next hour closes. This is also happens to be a 4 hour. If it closes like this, I'll probably just ladder here. If it closes a little bit more bullishly, yeah, we'll see. Well, after have a look at that one. Can you look at unit of altcoin? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Filecoin's an interesting one. It's actually been moving quite nicely recently. We were kind of watching it in this general area, saying it looks quite good. It's gaining levels, going higher. We've actually gained this whole range now. So this is all... Actually, I feel like that might be untested. So let's go back to the 4 hour quickly. Yeah, weekly opens untested on Filecoin. We've actually gained here, though, which is quite nice. We made a new high. This is good. Potentially looking at something like that. But yeah, I would say you've got quite a few areas to retest lower. So you got this. You've potentially got actually the weekly open down here as well. And maybe even this little nub around the previous weekly. So there's actually quite a lot of levels to test on the way down. We've had a really nice test of November on the upside. Currently overbought on the 4 hour. Looks like it wants to roll back a little bit. Got some high confluence here. Got strength coming back below trend, so that's probably going to pull the price down a little bit in the near term. There's actually a potential short on here, as you are breaking down from the daily open. You actually did do that little sneaky 1 hour close below as well, so you could potentially scalp this all the way back down to here, down to 2.7. But I would say keep an eye on like 2.5 to 2.4. Keep an eye on this area. There might be actually some really nice scalping here in the near term. If I just turn off a lot of this stuff. What is all of this stuff? I maybe go to the 5 minute. Yeah, on this little like local breakdown. Actually, the hourly is a little bit easier to see, where we could do something like this, back down into support, get a little bit of a bounce, and then we might like step ladder a little bit lower down into support, or we might get a bounce and just regain. But looks okay. Looks like it's doing quite well. Slightly higher time frame. I need to take off some of these rays actually. I might just take off most of it. It's not really that important. We can just redo it. I'd say locally, yeah, we actually gained a really nice 12-hour candle. That's probably a really good daily close above structure as well. I'd say that you're looking at potential trend change here, especially if you can come and bullishly backtest that and then make a new high. That's going to be a bottom. Nice bullish divergence as well. That's good. Looks good. Might see a little bit of downside here, but yeah, it looks not too bad actually. Quite like that. Nice aggressive move off the lows. On 2 hour, there's bearish engulfing. Let me check 2 hour. Let's zoom in. It's a close one. Not quite bearish engulfing, but this next hourly candle, which will also be the 4 hour close in half an hour, looking a bit bearish there. Bearish retest of daily open, lost March. Bearish underside retest of this. Yeah. Probably going to go down to here. You know what though? Looking at that, probably at the start of the stream would have been a little bit better, wouldn't it? When was that? Oh, that was 10 o'clock where we did the bearish retest of the daily open. Not quite, but it does look like it's breaking down a little bit. Sorry. Ina was the other one. Oh, I keep forgetting to do the bot. And also, botting everyone else's streams is also at really bad times for me. Not a problem. Ina. I was actually going to cancel my sessions, but I don't feel that bad. I just feel a little bit sick. Ina. Okay. Let's put that daily low on. Daily close below. Definitely a deviation as of right now. Gained some nice levels back on the daily. That was a really good daily close yesterday. Giga bullish divergence. Cash flow coming in on the daily. Looks nice. Looks like it's angling up. Going to the 12 hour. Just look at the liquidations quickly. Yeah, a lot to the up and the downside. Really nice move off the lows. Actually ripped quite a lot of these highs here. That looks good. It's kind of what we're waiting for on a lot of these alts. Definitely oversold in this area. Gonna probably see a little bit of a pullback. So if you're looking at the local structure, yeah, a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a bearish retest right here. Probably looking to come back towards like 2.6. Maybe somewhere in here. But looks quite good actually. Looks really good. Done all the retests down here. Weekly open. Doesn't really need to revisit. Yep, that's all tested. I would say potentially you're looking at somewhere, yeah, just somewhere around here for a potential retest. And then, yeah, I think this is going to go higher. Looks quite good. Now, losing Q4 and losing this would be quite bad because this is already tested. We will be back in support and we will have a new high. So potentially you'll be looking to bid the weekly open as well, as that would be some sort of stuver. Let me just take all of this stuff off. As now we have made a new local high, you could, you could pull it from here or you could pull it from there. Either way, you'd probably be looking at the weekly open as support. So it looks good. I like it a lot. Actually like that a lot. It's actually done something of note, which is quite nice. But yeah, might see a little bit of a pullback in the near term. I would say that 5 minutes tuber is potentially something you could do a play off, as you do have obviously these low. No. You have these lows here that were broken. This was the high, new low. Yeah. So potentially, if you get back up here, there will be maybe a little scalp short with a stop above here, which could potentially take you down into here and maybe into 2.6, a little bit lower into that hourly zone that I was talking about. But again, we're still above the daily open, which is quite nice. So I wouldn't really put too much on that. That's more of just like if you're really looking for a scalp, there's potential there. I'm not going to be taking that, but yeah, looks good. I like it a lot. Looks good, man. So yeah,